From Washington, this is VOA News. Boko Haram's release of schoolgirls reportedly will occur in the U.S. New York City hatchet attack is called a terrorist act. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting from Washington. According to Reuters news agency, Moussa Mahamat Dago, the number 2 official in Chad's foreign ministry, says he expects Nigeria's deal with militant group Boko Haram to free more than 200 kidnapped schoolgirls will go through, despite the apparent breakdown of a ceasefire. Reuters reports Dago says Nigeria and Boko Haram have verbally agreed to a series of points, including the release of the schoolgirls and of jailed Boko Haram fighters. No estimate of when that release will happen. New York City Police Commissioner William Bratton is calling Thursday's hatchet attack that wounded 2 officers an act of terrorism. Bratton says a search of computers at the home of suspect Zale Thompson uncovered Islamic extremist websites as well as articles about beheadings, the Canadian Parliament shooting, and the White House intruders. Police say Thompson had converted to Islam but probably acted on his own. As the world focuses on the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, cholera has sickened thousands and killed dozens in Ghana's capital. Chris Stein has more.
More than 7,000 people have been infected with cholera in Ghana's capital, Accra, since June, 57 of whom died from the disease.
It started from the Islamic areas.
Simpson Boateng, the director of public health for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, says food cooked in unsanitary conditions is mainly to blame for the disease. Overflowing gutters and fetid open sewers are common across the capital. Chris Stein for VOA News, Accra.
Visit us at our website, voanews.com, 24 hours a day for more on these stories. This is VOA News. The U.S. military says it has not confirmed reports that Islamic State militants are using chlorine gas bombs against Iraqi security forces in their fight to grab more territory. A Pentagon spokesman speaking Friday said U.S. authorities have seen reports of such attacks in U.S. and Iraqi media, but Rear Admiral John Kirby said, quote, "We don't have any indications that they're true in terms of usage and in terms of possession." 2 U.S. nurses who caught Ebola while caring for a Liberian patient are now virus-free, while another U.S. Ebola patient is prompting new quarantine measures in and around New York City. Nina Pham, a nurse at a Dallas, Texas hospital that treated the first patient diagnosed with Ebola in the U.S., was released from the hospital Friday and met with President Barack Obama. Mr. Obama gave a hug to Pham. Health officials say another Dallas nurse who is being treated for Ebola, Amber Vincent, no longer has detectable levels of the virus. White House spokesman Josh Earnest indicated Pham's recovery is a testament to the nation's ability to deal with the disease.
I think this also should be a pretty apt reminder that we do have the best medical infrastructure in the world, and certainly a medical infrastructure that's in place to protect the American public, and the track record of treating Ebola patients in this country is very strong, particularly for those who are quickly diagnosed and admitted through the system.
Authorities in Egypt say 2 attacks in the Sinai Peninsula have killed at least 28 security forces in some of the deadliest violence since the military overthrow of Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last year. Officials say at least 25 troops were killed in the first attack, and a second attack, gunmen opened fire on another checkpoint near Al Arish, the main town in the northern part of the restive peninsula. Turkey's president says Syrian Kurds and Free Syrian Army fighters were joining forces to defend the Syrian border of Kobani, Syrian border city of Kobani, from Islamic State extremists. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has agreed to allow Syrian rebels to transit through his country, said Friday that a deal had been reached allowing 1,300 moderate Syrian rebels safe passage to the besieged city. Hong Kong's pro-democracy protest leaders say they plan to hold a vote to measure public support for their government reform proposals. A coalition of protest groups says it will hold the referendum on Sunday at the main downtown protest site. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says the United States is willing to hold denuclearization talks with North Korea. More on all these stories at our website, voanews.com. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting from Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.